Hi there, everybody. Before I start, I just want to say thanks so much to everyone who's spoken before me. I've been like nodding away and just agreeing with everything that everybody's saying. So part of what I'm probably going to say will be reiterating what has been said before, but that just goes to evidence how true it is, really. So my name's Ailey Davey. I'm one of the principal teachers at East Park School. And if you go on to the next slide, that will introduce the school a wee bit. Thanks. So East Park School is a grant-aided school for pupils with complex special support needs, including autism, and we're based in Maryhill in Glasgow. All of our pupils require significant support to stay safe and to achieve to their full capacity. And as such, they are supported either one-to-one or two-to-one, both in the school or out. So I fully appreciate we're in a very privileged position, especially when we're talking about going out into the community. We have residential provision too, but I'm speaking as a teacher on behalf of what we do in the school. I'm not speaking on behalf of the residential side. Okay, thank you. So where does our outdoor learning take place? In the school grounds, we have a kind of a playground, and then we also have a sensory garden where we do planting and growing. We also have a couple of chickens, which we care for. So we do a lot of outdoor learning just within our grounds. Maryhill is an urban area in Glasgow, but we're very lucky to be within walking distance of several local outdoor areas. So we have a canal right at our back. And I was, like I say, I was really nodding along there because we do kayaking with our pupils on the canal. So we use that area. We have local parks within walking distance, so we use those. We have forest school sessions run by a forest school leader, which is within the woodlands of a local park. And then we also have a lovely, lovely area within walking distance called the Children's Wood, which is a local community wild space. So we utilise all of them. And what I would say is that some of our pupils really struggle accessing the community safely, even with these really high levels of support. So in those instances, the school grounds are what we use, and that's absolutely fine. So talking about risk assessing, this is the scariest bit of it. This is why people are put off from going out and learning outdoors. But all but 2 of our pupils have accessed our forest school programme. Now that's actually, I realise, not absolutely true because we've had a few new pupils join us this session, but they will get the opportunity to use it, to access it. And one of our pupils doesn't go purely because it's really not their cup of tea. But there's only one pupil who risk assessed and just said, no, we're not going to do this. And we do support people who have really quite out there behaviours who really need intensive support. So I think if we can do it, you can do it too. During all of our forest school and children's wood sessions since 2018, there have only been 5 incidents of distressed behaviour. And in comparison to our weekly incident report numbers, the significance of this really can't be underestimated. Our pupils are calmer when they're outdoors participating in these activities. I'm echoing what other people have said here, but being outdoors is good for their mental health. It's good physically because they have space, their sensory needs are being met, they have a chance to meet all those proprioceptive and vestibular needs that being pent up in a classroom just doesn't address for them. Next slide, please. So how we manage risk. We obviously have risk assessments in place, and then once on site, the staff are always dynamically risk assessing. Importantly, as people said before, we use familiar visuals that the pupils understand and rely on in school and trust in school. We take those very same visuals out into the community, out to forest school. Examples of that would be maybe sequence strips, now and next, maybe safety instructions using visuals. In forest school sessions, the forest school leader sets up just red kind of ribbons around the area just so there's a marker of where the boundary is. Although it's not quite visuals, we use things like a song signifier at the start and end of sessions so people have a very clear understanding of what's expected of them when it starts, when it's finished. The relationships with staff can't be underestimated, the importance of that. And we would always timetable outdoor learning, initially anyway, so that our young people are being supported by those with the most strong, secure attachments. And then as people's confidence builds, when we're taking out these young people who might be seen as having quite challenging behaviour, as their colleagues see that they're having such lovely, successful times out, then other staff members will have more confidence in taking them out too. What I would also say is how we manage risk is that we give these motivating risk-taking activities, we offer them, we allow our pupils, we encourage our pupils to start fires, we encourage them to use tools, we encourage them to climb trees, to take part in water sports, to go camping, because if you go to the next slide, thanks. What we have just found from our evidence, from our experiences, that when we give our pupils the opportunity to take part in these risky activities, they're much less likely to seek it in other dangerous, less appropriate ways. So as you can see, there's an example of some of the visuals we might take out when we're doing some outdoor activities. There's a lovely tree house down in one of the areas we use at the Children's Wood. And there's one of our pupils using some tools before he roasts some marshmallows. We've never had any accidents with any of our young people using tools. We've never had anyone hurt themselves hammering their fingers or, you know, using nails or anything like that. We've never had a single accident in that way. Okay, next slide, please. Challenges to overcome. So staffing numbers, I fully appreciate, as I said before, we are very well staffed and we're very lucky. But what I would say is if you don't have enough staff to feel confident going out far away, use your school grounds initially. And then you can see kind of what is a legitimate risk and you can have a think about it that way. But what I would say is probably was harder for us to overcome at first was staff enthusiasm. And that's hard because often, you know, if it's raining, staff are saying, nope, we're not going outside, it's too cold, it's too wet. What I would say is if you can have if there's one person in the staff team who's championing it and who's so enthusiastic about it, that'll spread. Like Martin said, it'll snowball because it's infectious. When we went camping the first time, well, we've only been once, but when we went camping last time, we struggled to get people to volunteer to join us, and we did manage. We got enough people. But now that we've done it, there is a list as long as your arm of people who want to come because they saw the photos of how great it was. And now when we're planning for the next time, we will have a queue of people to come and join us. And staff enthusiasm absolutely links with staff confidence. As you see your colleagues doing it and having fun and you see the young people having such a good time, staff enthusiasm and confidence will build. The weather, unfortunately, we can't do anything about, but as you can see from both these photos, it really doesn't stop us. It's all about having the right clothes. A lot of our pupils actually much prefer it when it's wet and there's puddles to when it's dry and it's sunny. And again, it's about getting staff on board with that, just making sure that staff and the young people are dressed appropriately. We have some staff now who have bought these waterproof all-in-one zip-up suits, and it really allows them to just enjoy themselves and have fun with the pupils. And where to do it, again, some of the other presenters have spoken about this. Have a look at your map, see where's in walking distance, and if there's nowhere in walking distance, do it in your own grounds. Yeah, find an area there. All that's being used there is some puddles and a bucket to collect some drips, and that's hours of fun. Next slide, please. So thinking about what curricular areas we cover when we're learning outdoors, honestly, truly, we cover all curricular areas. In the previous slides, you'd have seen some kind of nice art activities that we've been doing over the past year. Here are some other photos of what's been going on. We've done some orienteering, which would cover numeracy, it would cover geography. We have been doing science, and these other two photos are just taking part in our school grounds. So it still allows pupils' personal interests and exploration, but it's also being staff-led, and you're ticking lots of E's and O's boxes as well. Next slide, please. And here are just a few more photos evidencing the kind of breadth that we can cover of the curriculum. So we have some technology here, some maths using real life experiences, play and exploration. And you can see there's some tool use again. Some of our young people who you wouldn't expect it are just so unbelievably dexterous when it comes to these kind of fine motor skills using these tools. They're constantly surprising us with their ability, so you should never discount that somebody will be able to achieve something. Give them the chance to do it. In terms of how we kind of evidence what we're doing outdoors, we participate using John Muir Awards. Lots of our pupils are achieving SQAs, Nat1s, linked to the outdoor learning that they're doing. We have worked with the Royal Horticultural Society and followed their campaign for school gardening, which is a really good place to start if you're looking at want to get started with some gardening activities. We've also used the Woodlands Trust Green Tree School Awards and the RSPB Schools Wild Challenge. So they're really good places to get started, just to get you some ideas and also to give you kind of a focus, if you will, and a kind of planning tool just to get you started. And that's us. Thank you very much.